Hey guys, this is Dana, and this is episode number 39 of the Ask a Question show, the show in which you ask a question about any type of narcissistic or otherwise abusive or toxic relationship or situation, and I, along with the rest of the community, will do our very best to help answer it. Our goal is to give you the feedback and the support that you need so that you can move forward in getting the clarity, the closure, and the healing that you so deserve. And so today's question comes from Anonymous, and Anonymous asks, Dear Dana, can a narcissist change? I've seen some therapists and doctors out there claiming that they have a program that can make a narcissist change. Is this true, and is there help? So, great question. Let me kind of just start with the word narcissist. So, labels in general, they can add a lot of clarity, but they can also add a lot of confusion. And I think we have to be really careful when we buy into a label of any kind, especially if there's a chance that it can be somewhat disempowering. And so what I mean by that is the label itself, to not place our understanding of something necessarily on the label itself, it's more what the label represents. So having to do, and of course, like in the mental health field, these terms change all the time. And so this is where my concern is with people placing their understanding in the term and not in the behaviors. For example, the terms sociopath and psychopath are no longer in the DSM. And this is the book that's where all these terms come from. So that those terms have been replaced with the term antisocial personality disorder. Well, okay, that is what it is, right? But however, for victims of people that they knew to be sociopaths or psychopaths, that can be very confusing and very minimizing, because I'm sure that there's many people out there that think, well, if that term is no longer in the DSM, then maybe that means that that doesn't even exist. Like a psychopath doesn't even really exist. And so, but of course, it doesn't mean that what they experienced was any different. It just means that the term itself has changed. And here's kind of the added component to this. So different clinicians, when they assign diagnoses for people, it's based on a snapshot of what they're seeing. It's a snapshot in time. And so it's very possible that you can go to 5 different clinicians and get 5 different diagnoses. Again, it doesn't mean that the person does or does not have this type of personality disorder or mental illness or what have you. It just means that that's not what they're seeing. And of course, it might be kind of a limited perspective for them. They might not deal with certain types of personality disorders or mental illness on a regular basis. So there's so many different factors that come into play that can lead to different disorders. And I've seen this so many times where people will say, well, I left my husband because my therapist said he was a narcissist. And that can give a person a ton of clarity. I've also seen people say, well, my therapist or this clinician said that my wife or my husband or whoever wasn't a narcissist. And so now they stayed in therapy for, 5 or 10 years until they finally couldn't handle it anymore and they got out. Because of this, and so now what happens if the person who divorced their spouse because somebody else said, yes, they're a narcissist, and now they believe, well, because the term narcissist means that this person won't ever change. Let's say 3 years down the road, there is something that they discover, oh, well, yes, this really works with narcissism. Or they hear from another person, yes, your spouse was not diagnosed with as a narcissist. It was really PTSD instead. Now this former spouse, this wife, might be thinking, oh no, have I made a mistake in actually leaving this person? Because again, they're focused more on the term instead of more on the behavior. So that's kind of my concern with terminology in general. So understanding the behaviors, this is what truly is problematic, right? So it's the lack of empathy, it's the lack of remorse, it's the level of entitlement, it's the degree of selfishness, it's the exploiting of other people to get their way. And those are huge. And that's not just kind of one part of a person's personality. That's how they interact with the world. That's how they filter all incoming information. That's how they do everything. And so, I think anything is possible. I think if a person truly has a sincere desire to change, that change is possible. Who am I to say? Who is anybody to say if a person truly can or cannot change, right? I'm willing to entertain that idea because I don't think that the issue of can they change is what's important here. I think what's important here is will they change? And that's what I encourage victims to look at is is this person willing to change? You can, again, you can drag a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so if there's no sincere desire on their end to change, you don't see any consistent massive action that they're taking in that direction to change, then that kind of gives you their answer as to whether or not they really want to change. So if you're going to go down this route, I would encourage you to ask yourself two things. One, how much time, well, three things. How much time are you willing to spend waiting for this person to change? That's one question, right? Is it going to be 6 months? Because change takes a while. It generally doesn't take like, especially for these people, this is how they really view the world. So you're not talking 1 or 2 therapy sessions here. You're talking, I would imagine months, if not years. But again, who am I to say how long it takes for a person to change? But I would get clarity with yourself. How much time are you willing to potentially throw at this? 6 months, a year, 6 years? And during that time, how much money are you willing to spend in hopes that this person will change? That's the second part. And then the third part is, what kind of change are you needing to see in a certain time frame in order to get you to stay in this relationship? Or what kind of lack of change are you needing to have happen in order for you to have peace with leaving? So that's kind of how I would go about approaching all of this. I hope that helps. If anybody else has any, anything to add, please definitely do so down below in the comments. If anybody else has any questions, comments, concerns, frustrations, insights, ideas, you need some support, you just want to say hi, best place to get a hold of me and many other people is the support group, which is also down below in the description area of the video. And lots of love to you guys. You are not alone. You are not crazy, and you really can move forward and heal from this. So take care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.